everybody. Welcome back to episode 3 of gift tag making. It's been a lot of fun. If you missed episode 1 and or 2, I'll put the link to those videos in the description, so go ahead and watch those first. Today we're going to make some Christmas trees. We're going to do some fabric Christmas trees on the gift tags. But before we do that, I wanted to revisit one of the tags we did yesterday, because after I stopped filming, I rethought it a little bit. And so if you remember, we ended with this pretty gift tag here, and then it had the bow in the corner, which I kind of wasn't so crazy about because I put the bow in the corner before I thought about putting the X or the cross for to make it look like a Christmas present. So after I stopped videoing, I just ripped this off very carefully, and then I found this pre-existing little bow, which I think is really cute, and I'm going to glue that right in the center like that. And then, you know, I have this, this is red velvet. I don't think you can tell the material from the camera, but I also have a green velvet ribbon. And if you remember, this used to be the same size as this, but I cut it in half. So I was thinking I would do the same with this. I'd make this thinner, and then I would put it on this package, make this look like a little package, and I'd put this red bow that I took from the initial tag and stick it on the middle of here. So I'd have kind of twin matching gift tags, which I think will be really cute. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Let's start with hot gluing. Let's turn you around so you can see what I have going on here. And let's get the hot glue gun and just stick it on right in the middle. That might have been a little too much hot glue, but that's okay. Oh, that's cute. So that was the easiest thing I think I've ever done in my life, and there you have it. So for the green one, the other thing that I had discovered yesterday was that hot gluing the ribbon on made it like a little bit bumpy and look not so professional. For this one, I'm going to sew the ribbon on instead of hot gluing it, because I think that'll just make it look a little nicer. Let's try and sew this velvet ribbon on to see if it works. I think it will. It did on the last one. Well, I didn't sew the last one, so maybe it won't. Let's find out. Looking pretty good so far. Let's trim off the edges. And then let's hot glue this bow right in the middle. Oh, I missed an edge here. That's great. So, oh, I have a little fuzz stuck on my bow. Let's get that fuzz off of there. I have some strands here. Let's tidy this up a little bit. Okay, so I like that. I like that a lot. The only thing I would say is I put the to from stamp on before I sewed them. But besides that, I like that very much. And let's look at it with the other one. Those are really sweet, I think. And sparkly. I'd like to receive this present. A gift tag on a gift. A gift of a gift tag on a gift. All right, so that's just what I wanted to do for that. Let's talk Christmas trees. So I have an idea that I want to try that I've never done before, which is I want to take some fusible interfacing, draw little Christmas trees, cut them out, back them with some pretty fabric, and then get them and then sew them onto the Christmas tag. So that's kind of the general idea. So I'm just gonna see if it works. I'm thinking that the Christmas trees may end up being too small for this project, but I wanna give it a try and see. You never know. But I do want the Christmas trees to kind of be a little bit small so that on some of the tags you may be able to fit more than one Christmas tree. So I want to see if I can make some tags using this method. So the first step is going to be to get some fusible interfacing. They have them in all weights, and I think for this project it doesn't matter if it's a lightweight or a heavyweight. The one I'm using is just going to happen to be a heavyweight because that's what I have on hand, and I'm actually using little scraps of fusible interfacing, which I love because I had saved these little scraps and I thought, what in the world would I ever need tiny pieces of fusible interfacing for? But turns out applique is a great way to use the fusible interfacing, as is this potential project. So I'm glad that I saved those scraps. I try and save all scraps, whether it be the fusible interfacing or ribbon or especially fabric. I love little scraps because I love to use every little bit of whatever I am purchasing. So I actually love the fabric scraps so much that I will go and make projects just so that I can have the scraps to use, because I love having those little teeny tiny pieces of fabric in the most beautiful fabric that I just love so much. So I love scraps, and now I have fusible interfacing scraps, and we're going to use them to make little teeny tiny trees. So let's get the ironing board, the iron, fusible interface thing, and fabric. So I have my fusible interfacing here, and there's a shiny side and a matte side. And the shiny side is going to be what attaches to the fabric. So I'm going to turn it over onto the matte side, and I'm going to just draw a bunch of different Christmas trees of varying styles and sizes, and then I'm going to cut these out. So I don't really care how perfect these are, but I do want to have a little trunk. I'm going to do some without a trunk because actually I think attaching the trunk is not something I've fully thought through. So let's do a couple trunkless, and then maybe just some triangles, because I think that could be very Christmas tree looking, very modern Christmas tree. Just have the triangle. I think I want a nice tall. This is the kind of one you can put kind of on the side of a tag and then have the writing next to it. So I like that, and then I could even do another littler one. All right, I'm going to do two more. And let's cut these out. The other way you could do this is to attach your fabric to the fusible interfacing first. So just do a nice big piece of fabric and a nice big piece of interfacing and attach them, and then cut your trees out from there. However, then you don't get the little fabric scraps because the fabric is already attached to the interfacing. So I like to do it this way because then I have more fabric left over. But you can do it however you want. I bet there's a bunch of different ways to get to the end point of this type of thing. I'm using craft scissors instead of fabric scissors because I never know with fusible interfacing if it's bad for your fabric scissors to cut the, kind of the gluiness with it. And I think it's probably fine, but I figure since the craft scissors work completely perfectly, that I wouldn't chance it. And you can even take your leftover pieces, like this one I didn't draw anything on it, but maybe I'll just see what comes if I just snip away. It might not work. Let's try. Oh gosh. Well, that's a strange Christmas tree there. That's hilarious. I'll keep it anyway, just because it's kind of funny. So this one I cut out without even using my pen. So you could, and I think that these two I cut out without drawing them first, and they're super weird looking, but I actually really like that. So maybe I'll do a couple without drawing them first. Just freehand, I think they call it. Yeah, those are kind of funny. The other thing that just occurred to me is that you could take some of these little Sharpie pieces and stick them together and make like a little star. That looks neat. I think I'm gonna try and make a star with that one and see what happens. I'm gonna put a couple random trees right onto my ironing board here. I'm gonna pick a piece of fabric and put it on top. Now I have some very traditional Christmas fabrics like this one and this one. But I also brought out some non-traditional Christmas fabrics like this. I thought could be really cool because it looks like sparkly little lights all over the tree. I also brought this, which is not Christmassy at all. This is like a hot pink. But there's something about pink trees, pink Christmas trees that I just love. Sometimes they look a little bit like Victorian, and then other times they look very like mod. And so I brought a bunch actually of these like pink kind of just fabrics to be trees. I think this polka dot one is hilarious, but it might not read very well because the polka dots are so big, but I thought I would just give it a try. So I'm gonna do some traditional Christmas trees and then also some pink trees. So you wanna make sure that the shiny side is up. Okay. And then you're gonna put it right on top. I like to give it a little spray because the moisture helps adhese, I don't know what the word is, it helps connect the fabric with the fusing. Adhere, that's the word. It helps adhere the fabric to the fusible interfacing. I think you're supposed to do it for 30 seconds. It worked. Great. So I'm going to put this aside. I'll obviously eventually cut this out. Actually, in looking at it, I don't love where these trees ended up being placed. This one is like just totally brown except for a tiny bit on either side of the tree, which is kind of funny. And then this one just has a random white stripe. So this is going to be a little silly, but that's okay. And then I also decided when I first started cutting these out, I was like, oh, I think I'm going to have the trunks be, a different color than the rest of the tree, but forget that. I'm just going to make this one big solid fabric, and the trunk will be the same fabric as the body of the tree, and that'll be okay. So let's do another one. How about we do this polka dot green? Let's try this. Make sure that the shiny side is up, and we'll do those three. All right, let's see what happens. Give it a little spray, and then you have to wait. Okay, that looks good. So this one also didn't have a ton of polka dots on it. I'm all right with that. That's okay. This is just an experiment. We'll do another Christmassy one. I love this Christmas fabric. This is one of my favorites. Some of these, it's hard to tell which side is shiny. I think that's the way to go. Okay, let's try this red stripy fabric. This could be really cool. This interesting fabric is kind of all over the place, and it would be nice to use some of this. It looks very tree-like, but I think I'm actually going to use this part, the middle of this, which means I'm going to have to kind of line it up, but I think I can do that. I think I can figure that out. So I know I want to use this big tree, and then maybe some medium ones. Let's see if I can hit it in the right spot. Oh, I put that one the wrong direction. Now it's attached to my board. Darn. Always make sure that you have the right side up. I'm going to just throw that one away. Let's try another one. Okay, I think I'm going to cut a couple more actually because I don't have a ton left, and these are all the ones I have left, and I want to do kind of a good amount in the pinks. So I am going to cut just quickly a few more here. This was kind of an accident, but at the bottom it was a little bit jaggedy, and I like that. I'm going to try and see if I can make that happen on the other side. That's funny. Let's try and make another jaggedy one. This plaid is really cool. I think teal is also a really great Christmas color. Not really the teal in here, but a little bit more of a pastel-y blue teal is really Christmassy sometimes, especially if you pair it with like a pastel pink or silver, something sparkly. So I like the Christmas colors and Christmas patterns that aren't so typically Christmas. I also love the traditional Christmas fabrics and colors, but sometimes it's fun to mix it up and do something unexpected, but that's still traditional in a way. So now I have all of my trees attached to the fabric, and I am gonna go cut these out. I think you know how to cut, so I'm not gonna bring you with me to cut these out. But the great thing about this kind of project is you can spend the time ironing on all these little trees all at once, and then you can relax in front of the TV or something when you're cutting them out. I felt like I made way more than this, but I guess not. So this is how it looks. I put it on this brown backing so you could see it a little bit better than against the red tablecloth. I think the most successful ones were the red and white stripes down here. The stripes I think were just closer together on the fabric, so that is super cool. And then these I really like here as well. And I thought I had another one of those, so I feel like I'm missing trees, but maybe they'll, oh, here they are. I knew I had more. Here they are. So those are kind of cool. I may not even use some of these smaller ones. I may try and stick to some of the bigger ones, but I do love these pinks up here. I think these pinks are so fun, and they really make me smile. They are joyful. And I think I want to start with some of these red and white striped ones, and then maybe a green as well. So let's try the red and see how this works. I've never done this before, so let's find out if this is a possible thing. I think I'm not going to try and trace around each indentation. I'm just going to go down straight in a triangle. That'll make it a little bit cleaner, I think. Now let's add a green. So this is where it does come in helpful to have some smaller ones, I guess. I'm gonna put a green one, and see how I'm kind of tucking it behind the red? That's kind of cool. I'm gonna see how that works if I do that. And I'm not worrying about the back here, how that's looking, because I'm going to put a piece of fabric on the back. But this is like my favorite thing I think I've done in all 3 of these episodes. I am just so surprised. I think that's really cute. I'm not going to add anything to that. I'm just going to put on the backing. So I think I'm going to put the green polka dot on the back, because that will kind of make this little green one make more sense. I should iron it, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to cut a piece about the size that I need. Oops. And then you're gonna sew it. So you have your front, right? And then you're gonna put wrong sides together and sew along the back. I'm gonna try this to from in a red. I think that could be cool. I don't know if this needs to be liquefied at all. Hopefully not. And I'm going to put it right here. Push down. Oh, that didn't come out so well. That's okay. I'm going to get a Sharpie and I'm going to clean that up a little bit. I don't have a red Sharpie, which is such a bummer. I feel like I totally just ruined this tag, but that's okay. I can always do it again. I'm going to write the to from right in here. And I think the lesson learned is that I am in dire need of fresh stamp pads. I think my stamp pads are just too old. So now I wrote to from. Doesn't quite look very good. You know, the other thing is you don't even need to add the stamp. I mean, you could just leave this blank and then people can write to and from, right? Like you don't have to have the stamp on here. The stamp is kind of cool if you have a fresh, clean, new from the foil package of stamps. But if your stamps are kind of old, I would say, or your stamp pads are kind of old, I would say just leave it blank. I think it's better. But the back is cute. Let's get that thing off there. Back is cute, front was cute, and let's make another one. I think I want to do this next one. I found some star cardstock, and I thought that would be cute with some of the pink trees. So let's cut a piece of this and do, I might have cut that too small. And do some pink trees. I want to do like this one and maybe like this one. Let's try that. And I'm noticing this is probably why my ink pads dry out, because I just leave them open like that. You should always shut your ink pads when you're not using them because they dry up so fast. All right, this one is good so far. Let's try adding another tree, or maybe I should add, let's see how this one looks. That's cute. I'm gonna do that. And then I kind of want to back it with a different fabric. I kind of want to back it with, let's back it with this purple polka dot. That's what I'm going to do. So we'll cut the right size. You put wrong sides together, and we'll sew around the edge. I love this so much. Look, why do I always end up with these strings on the back? I always forget to trim my strings, but this is great. And so I'm gonna just keep going, put a bunch of these together. Where's my other one? I wanna put them next to each other. And I'm not gonna put a to from on this one, but look how absolutely darling that is. That is the best. And then this one is really cute too. And so I'll make a bunch more and then I'll show you how they turn out. So I made a total of 5 of these. Here's the first 2 again, just to remind you of how they look. I'm pretty proud of these. I think that my most successful tags in this series were these. Oh, so this is one of the new ones. And what I love about this tag is that the backing fabric and the fabric that I did the trees in is double-sided. And so when I trimmed it, I trimmed a little bit extra so that it's a little bit of a border. And it made me think I really want to do a series of these tags in flannel, because flannel is double-sided, so you'll see it from both sides. And I think that the flannel plaid look of a bunch of different trees all backed would be beautiful. So I'm going to do a bunch of tags either this year or for next year's Christmas. Maybe I'll do all my tags just like this, because I think these are so fun. And this one in particular has the pop of pink with the plaid. I think it's really cool. I have this one, which is again kind of that pink, either kind of mod tone, and then I did a stripe on the back, which is really fun. So I like that one a lot. And then the last one I did was the traditional Christmas, and just so that this kind of got tied more into the rest of the tag, that's the fabric that I put onto the back of that. So as I was saying, I think my favorite tags of this series of episodes, these 3 episodes, were these ones here that I just did, and then the Christmas present ones, those twin Christmas presents. I could have a lot of fun with those and use a ton of different kinds of ribbon and bows for the middle and matching fabrics. I will do that again for sure. Then the other thing that I really loved was the lace with the cardboard back, but I almost want to use that in an actual fabric project. And what I was thinking while I was making these Christmas trees is, wouldn't it be cool if the backing of, so let me show you an example. So kind of picture this, only with the lace in the background, would be gorgeous. So I'm gonna try that. I think I might try a quilt block with this, making a quilt block with the fabric, lace, and Christmas trees. And you could just, you could go so many different directions with that. And is, don't forget to put your hole punch with a little ribbon. You could also just tape it to the present, but then you wouldn't see the back sides. And so have a wonderful time with these tags, and happy gift opening, and I'll see you next time. Bye.
When I was cleaning up my space after finishing these tags, I found these purple trees. I knew that I had cut more trees than I had on hand there. So I found these purple ones, and I love them so much I decided to make this tag. And I did the back a little different. I pieced 2 fabrics from the front together, and I just kind of left this seam raw edge, and over time it will fray, but I think that will end up looking really cool. The edges, around this part are going to fray as well. And then I had so many left over of the striped trees and I found this fantastic cardstock that I had on hand that I wish I had used on more of these tags. And then on the back, I just did the red stripe. So I think these are really cute. I'm going to put these with the other ones, and let's take a look at all the tags together.